Hello guys, welcome to CS Tech Solution. Today's is learn in SQL. Today's is learn as a SQL alias. What is a alias? Alias is a temporary names as giving to a columns or as a tables in SQL queries. And the aliases make a queries result as easier to read and the write, and they is exist only for as durations of the queries and as do not change the actual database structure. And the benefits of alias as improve readability of queries result and gives the meaningful names to the column, as simplifies complex queries, and as make the as joins queries as easier to understand. First, as a colon alias. Colon alias is changed the colons is heading in outputs. Syntax as a select as a colon name as alias names is a colons names is changed, and as a froms as a table names and semicolon. And the as keyword is optional, and so use as a select as a colon names and alias names as to write, and from as a tables name to gives, and this both the syntax is true. And examples as give the tables is the student data and the student name as a first name, last name, and the marks as to gives. And as a example one is a colon alias as a select as a uh, colon says to select as a first names, and is change the colons names is as is use, and the names as a first names colon to change names as only as names as to so, and from as a student at the table name and the semicolon. So the output is colon names is changed as, and so as a name only. And second example is multiple colons alias is used, so the select and the as a first name to change as is used as keyword, and change the names as alias names is first underscore name and commas, and the last name is as, and change as a surname and commas, and the marks is as, and the marks colon to names has changed as a total underscore marks, and from as a table name to gives, and the semicolon. So the output is to show the first colon names is first underscore name, and second is a surname, and third is a total underscore marks title as to show. Second is a alias without age, so as a select as a first names, and the change the names as alias names is only as name and the commas, and the last names is changed as a surname, and from as a table name is student and semicolon. So the output is same as using as. And third is alias with a space, so the as a use double quotes, and the square brackets, double quotes, square brackets in the SQL servers, and as brackets in MySQLs is depending on the database. And first is a MySQL to use the command, so the select as a first name, and as is, and the Eclipse to use, and as gives colons names as a changeables colons names अथवा तो alias names is student name, and from as student, and semicolon, so the colons names is changed, and with a space. So the student and space and the names has to give, and SQL servers is use the alias with space, so the select as the first names as, and square brackets inside the student space names as to write, and from as a student table names, and semicolon. And standard SQL to write as SQL first name as double quotes inside as student space name, and double quotes overs, and froms as the table name is student, and semicolon. Fourth is a alias with a expression. So the writer select as a first names and commas, and the marks and commas, and the marks plus 5 is as a bonus underscore marks. So the and after the forms and the student names is sorry, as a students is a table name and semicolon. So the output is as a mark as a first names, and marks as to gives, and as a bonus marks as a marks plus 5. So the this marks plus 5 as to show in the bonus columns, bonus marks columns, and plus 5. So the 85 is show as a 90, and the 90 is show as a 95, and 88 is show as 93, and as fifth is concatenations with alias, and in a MySQL as a select as a concat and counts inside first names and commas, and single quotes open and space, and after is a close, and commas, and the last name as colons names to change as a full underscore name, and from as a student, and semicolon. So the as a merge the two colons as a first names and the last names, and both the names is so as a full underscore name, and the output is a full underscore names colons has to create, and the names and the surnames both has to show in a single colon. 6 is a table alias. Table alias is gives a temporary name to the tables, like as a syntax as select and the colons names, otherwise all the colons to as use as a star, and from as a table name is alias names and the semicolon. And example as select and the colons names is s dot first names and the commas s dot marks, and as a forms, and the students table names as alias names is only as s, and semicolons as to this. And here the student names is original tables, and s is a temporary tables alias. Thank you guys to watch the videos. Please subscribe the channel, on the notification and bell icon.